Paul, I'm sure you thought you...
Who's got the first question?
Well done, sir. I'm sure you thought you were done with these, but obviously we appreciate you coming back here. But, I mean, you know, you've been talking about this for a long time, but now it's out there in the public, right? You made it. It's official. You said it. What's the feeling like right now? Is it like a load off, or does it feel weird? What's the emotion?
Yeah, I think there's that monkey's off my back a little bit. I really waited until I knew. Like, I knew. You know, after the Hooker fight, it was kind of emotional, and I lost the fight. I'm far away from home. It was a struggle. But then I did find that fire again when I got the RDA fight, and I went back into camps. I was helping Sean Brady get ready for fights, and I was hitting pads, I was lifting again, I was doing all those things, and then just slowly over time, I just started drifting back towards doing my own thing and really just loving doing this triathlon stuff on my own, having time, seeing my daughter every day after school, dropping her off at school, training in my own, my own little pain cave at home in the garage and getting stuff done. I don't think I'm going to get to the belt. I think this is the first time where I finally really think, like, after those 2 losses in a row, watching guys like Jacare break their arm, watching guys like Cowboy fight 5 more fights past when I think they should, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I've said from the very beginning of this sport, I won't be that guy that fights past his expiration date, and I think it's here. And I think maybe it's a touch early, but I'd rather be a touch early than a touch late.
I was going to ask, how hard is that decision, right? Because that's the kind of the bad part about this gig, right, is when you walk away is when you're making the most money, right? Yeah. I mean, you're making more money now per fight. And I'm sure
I got a new contract I haven't even gotten the fight on yet. So that just shows you that this isn't an easy decision, and it's not one where it's not like I wasn't getting the things I want. That's when you know it's time. If a brand new contract just handed to me by the UFC without even negotiating, after that RDA fight, they took my contract, which still had 3 more fights on it, and they threw it out, and they said, here's your new one. And it was a good one. It's the one I've always wanted, or at least close to it. You know, obviously, if I keep winning fights, it'll get better. But who am I going to fight? Who am I going to fight right now? There's plenty of guys below me that are amazing. Islam Makhachev, Diego Fajeda, Gregor Gillespie. Yeah, they can probably beat me. I can probably beat them. I'm not excited about it. Tony Ferguson, 3-fight losing streak. Not excited about that. Don't want to do that. I don't want to do, a week in the hospital, breaking my orbital, breaking my face, puncturing a lung, more scars and cuts than I can even count. I don't want that anymore.
Do you know when the moment was that you actually decided, yes, that's it? Because, you mentioned some things that you've witnessed, but, you still have to make a final decision. When was it?
My mom brought up a good point. She said when I was younger as in, throughout most of my career, if I couldn't get to the gym, an MMA gym, to either hit pads, grapple, spar, do something, I would lose my freaking mind. And I have not been in an MMA gym in probably 3 months. And then before that, it might have been 1 pad session where I did 5 rounds, and then it was like, I don't feel like doing this. So yeah, that spark that I need to fight, especially the way I fight, it just wasn't there anymore. And I was like, wow, you're right. If I'm not itching to even get to training and do this stuff, and I'm getting fight offers, and I'm just not. And the only reason it took this long is because I really gave everybody a chance to kind of convince me. And the UFC was really patient with me and really good with me. Sean Shelby called me several times, had a conversation with me to see where my head was at. We had this conversation twice now recently, and then the second one I finally called him back the other day, and I was like, I'm retiring on Saturday. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll be upset, and watching the highlights and stuff like that was getting me emotional. And I just can't believe it's been October of 2014. I can still remember that week in Canada, Halifax, Canada, like it was yesterday. And, Danny Castillo knockout. And yeah, it's been good. But I said, if I'm not going to be the champion, if I'm not going to fight for that belt, then it's time to hang it up. And I don't see myself beating all these guys ahead of me.
Well, I was going to say, so that's the interesting part, right? It sounds like you're really comfortable with the decision, but Charles Oliveira wins the title. Is there any part of you that like the blood started flowing inside of you? Like, wait a minute.
It didn't. And if you're the last guy to knock out the current champion and you're not, because it's not the same guy. He's a beast now. I'm not saying I couldn't potentially beat him. I still think to this day that there's not a guy on the roster that on any given day, I couldn't beat. But I just don't think I'm going to get the fights and then string together the wins that are going to get me the momentum to get to that fight when you've got the Poirier and the McGregor fight coming up. You've got Charles with the belt, and Chandler's still in the mix. Hooker doesn't have a fight right now. Makhachev is surging right now. I'm not going to beat all these guys, and one setback is just like, all right, that's it. I'm not going to get there. So I'll just hold on to that knockout of Charles Oliveira and get the hell out of here and be like, all right, yep, you're never getting that one back, buddy. I knocked your ass out, but now you're the champion, and you look great doing it. And your teeth, they're fantastic. Where do I go to get them done?
Last thing for me, I guess. So with this done, when's the first triathlon?
It's June 6th. I'm peaking right now. I'm walking around at about 170 pounds. You know, after certain runs, I was 168 pounds. And my suits they don't fit me right now. June 6th, half Ironman distance. I did 12 miles this morning before the show at a 7:38 per mile pace for almost 12 miles. I mean, that's not where I want it to be. I want to get to the point where I'm competitive enough in that sport that I can win as an age grouper in my age group, which I would say is probably one of the more competitive age groups from 35 to 40. You don't really get into your stride in endurance sports until you're a little bit older. You know, it's kind of boring. It takes older guys to kind of enjoy this shit.
Paul, there's something about the short notice of the RDA fight that kind of excited you. So why not just stay sort of semi-retired and wait for those opportunities to come up? Why would you make this decision to actually walk away?
I don't want to get hit in the head anymore. I don't have any major health concerns right now that I'm worried about, but you know, I've been in some battles, and I've been in more battles than I've been in the octagon inside the room. You know, I used to spar really hard, and I've sparred really top-level guys for years and years and years, and I'm creeping up closer to 40 every day, and I want to be able to do sports and do other things and do activities with my daughter and play with my dog and do stuff like that. I don't want to be laid up and getting huge in between fights. And you guys see me some of these, I was almost had like an eating disorder from the amount of weight that I used to cut, because as soon as I was let off the leash to be able to eat, I would go eat 6 bags of candy, 2 boxes of donuts, sitting on the couch with injuries. So now I'm swelling up just eating and drinking, and I'm enjoying the lifestyle that I have now and staying fit, being lean, and competing in a different way that's just easier for me to do right now, and watch all these amazing fighters like Rob Font get to kind of tackle their dream now, you know, and allowing space for these new and up-and-coming lightweights to kind of take over, because I feel like everybody's like, why don't you just wait around? And I'm like, well, there's still going to be a number next to my name, which means people are going to be berating me constantly. And I was getting so sick of being called a coward, being called afraid, ducking people, which everyone in this room knows goddamn well is not an ounce of truth in that. Did I turn down fights? Yeah, because I don't want to fight anymore, and I couldn't say that because I hadn't officially announced my retirement. So I got all these guys trying to fight me, and all these fans turning on me and telling me how much of a coward I am, when really in my mind it's because I know I'm not going to compete anymore. So that's why it was finally time to be like, all right, I got to clear the air. I got to let everyone know that this is how I feel. And yeah, it hasn't sunk in yet. I'm sure it will.
You know, that it's always said like MMA retirements, they never really stay retired and stuff. But I think, are you planning on removing yourself from the USADA pool? Because that's always a good indication that it's over. Yeah,
I got to find out how that happens. I think I have to formally write a letter or
I think so, yeah. Something
like that. Yeah. Yeah, I will, because I'm sick of them showing up at my house at 6 a.m. too, because just recently showed up like 3 times. Twice it's been a Friday night. a Friday night. I'm like, you're lucky I'm not half in the bag right now. I mean, you get a urine sample, it's not going to have much of any properties in it other than strong Belgian beers. I can tell you that.
Last question from me. How would you like Paul Felder, the fighter, to be remembered?
As somebody that stayed true to themselves throughout their career and left no stone unturned and tried to be and fought to be the champion my whole career. I never fought for anything else other than to try to be the best. I didn't shy away from any fights, and that's why this was driving me nuts that people were starting to say that's who I am and that I'm dodging people and I'm doing all that kind of stuff, because I'm not that guy. And somebody that brought it every single time, no matter who they were in there with, and had no quit. Somebody that had zero quit. That's how I'd like to be remembered. Zero quit in them. There's a lot of people that would have quit in so many of the fights that I was in with some of the injuries that I was dealing with. And not only did I not quit in some of those fights, but I won some of those fights. I mean, I won with a punctured lung. I damn near won with a broken tibia, or ulna bone. I had a fracture in my right eye, 2 fractures in my right eye against Dan Hooker in the first round, first couple minutes of the fight. So, yeah.
Sorry, guys, that was the last one.
Yeah.
He's like, I stole him from the set. So I gotta bring him back.
Peace out, guys.
Philly next weekend?
What's that?
Philly next weekend?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. CFFC? Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to Rob about showing up, so maybe I'll see you there. All right. I got to focus on the race, though, so I got to keep the beers, light beers, like Michelob Ultra. All right. I mean, Modelo.
Yeah, sorry about that. Now they told me to shut the lights down.
Rob, congratulations. Obviously, a pretty dominant victory for you. I mean, not necessarily an easy one, but well done. So tell me how you're feeling, I guess, physically and emotionally right now.
I feel great. You know, physically a little jammed up, a little beat up. That kick and hit, man. That kick and hit. He had like 2 or 3 shots. I was like, all right, don't get hit again. Please don't get hit again. But, yeah, emotionally I feel good. On to the next one.
Yeah. You were open about the fact that this was a big opportunity for you, right? Talk to me about the feel coming in tonight, because, you know, obviously you're getting further and further along in your career. So this headlining slot, you know, former champ, were there nerves? Was it a different feel coming in?
Yeah, I would be lying to say that if I wasn't nervous for this one, but it felt like right, like you're supposed to be nervous. You know, it felt like all right, this is a big fight. You have all the skill sets to win this fight. You have the support system. You have the team to do it. Just go out there and do it, and it worked out.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be 2 great strikers, 2 great boxers in particular. You, of course, had the length, but any surprises from what you saw in there, from what you expected? I mean, his speed, his power, his movement, they're all tricky.
Yeah, no surprises. He was quick. He was fast. He can hit hard. You know, and again, I wasn't a little surprised on the takedowns as far as like him. I figured he would try to keep it there and in advanced position. You could tell he just wanted to get up and start striking. Like it was almost like he got the takedown, but didn't really want the takedown, and he just really wanted to just do damage.
Yeah, I was going to say it was kind of interesting, right? Because he went to the takedown early and then kind of didn't really go back to it for the rest. So, I mean, did that throw you off a little bit? And were you expecting him to wrestle more?
Yeah, I was. I could tell it was weird. Like I think he didn't at the time. I think he surprised himself when it took me down. Like you could tell he wasn't really trying to advance position. He just like, all right, why am I here? And he just got up and started throwing bombs, and some of them landed. You know, so I think he just did it because it was like so obvious. I think.
Yeah. You look like you were the fresher guy as things were wearing on. But, I mean, you might say his best round was the 5th round. I mean, he dug deep and threw a little something at you. So I guess what's going through your head in round 5 is he's suddenly, like, coming alive again.
Yeah, so that first, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was like the first minute. We got into like a clinch. He had like a quick flurry. Again, I could feel the speed. I could feel the power. I was like, wait, has he been playing with me this whole time? Like, is he about to turn it on now? But no, he's like, after that little burst happened, backed him up a couple times with the jab, hit a couple body shots, and he slowed down. And I was all right, keep it here. Don't go too crazy. Don't try to brawl with him. His only chance to winning is obviously knocking me out. And it worked out.
Yeah. I'm sure you're going to go back and watch it, soak it in, break it all down. But do you feel like this accomplished the fact of, because, you know, such a deep division, you were kind of like the guy on the way up, but you were on the outside. Do you think this proves that, hey, I belong to being there in the conversation?
100%. You know, you go in there and go 5 rounds with Cody Garbrandt. I don't believe when the Cruz, I went 5 rounds with him. Like, you know, and the Cruz is a legend. You know, you go 5 rounds with him, not getting knocked out. I mean, it proves that you're legit.
Yeah. Last thing for me, I mean, you gave a pretty good breakdown of your standing in the division ahead of this, right? You were like, hey, we got to see what plays out with the rematch. And then, of course, you know, but with what you've just done now, with dominating the way you did, do you see a fight that makes sense for you right now? Is there a matchup that you go, this is the one that makes sense, or do you still have to sit back and wait?
I feel like I still got to sit back and wait. Yeah, so it sucks. You know, it sucks. Like I could have dominated or could have knocked him out. I still would have to sit back and wait. I definitely don't want to fight backwards. So again, like I said, I learned patience. I'll be patient.
So, man, you know, I'm sure you had self-belief before this, but beating someone like Cody and getting that name on your record, does that give you a sense of validation? Like, yes, I am one of the best in the world. This is proof.
100%. You know, like you hope and you wish, you know, everything you're thinking and telling yourself before the fight is true. But when you go out there and actually, you know, perform and get the job done, it just solidifies that everything I was saying was true.
There's been some questions about his chin over the years, and you hit him with, I think, a head kick at one point. Were you surprised he was able to stay in there?
Yeah, I said, come on, man. Like, what else I got to hit him with, man? I'm not sure if his jaw was broken, but something went, and it was he touched it. And I was like, you're still not going to go down? I'm like, all right, stay. You know, we're going to be here all night. So I just, you know, got ready to go the whole 5.
This might be a weird question, but I can sort of hear the tone in your voice. Was it cool fighting Cody Garbrandt? I can sort of see that you have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, bro. Like I have a lot of respect for him. You know, I was a big fan of his. You know, go in there and do what he does. Like he went, I think, 4 in a row, got the belt, and then obviously lost it. But he you know, he's a cool kid, man. Like he's, you know, he brings it. He's either gonna knock you out or get knocked out, and there's no excuses. You know, yeah, I'm definitely a fan. Who knows? Maybe one day we could get the train together.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Hey Rob, just how was the sort of main event experience this week? You know, the added media, and obviously now you got just big fights coming your way. I mean, how do you embrace sort of all that other stuff that comes with that?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's a privilege to do this. I don't have to do interviews. I get to do interviews. And also remember when nobody wanted to interview me. You know what I'm saying? So now it's kind of like, all right, well, let's go. You know, it's weird in the sport where like you can like, you know, like it could change overnight, and I think this is that change for me.
Your style and your strengths. Can you tell me why you feel? How do you beat Aljamain Sterling and how do you beat Petr Yan? Just naming those two, obviously, because they're the two at the top right now.
Yeah, I think Aljamain might be a tougher puzzle to solve. Petr Yan, similar to Cody, you know, stay long jab and let him run into something big. Aljamain's a little trickier because the wrestling and you know, his length. I think with Aljamain, same thing. I think it'll be boxing him up, stop a couple takedowns, and just straight box him up. And then same thing for Petr Yan. It'll be just not getting hit with big shots and then boxing him up as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob. When you look at the streak you're on now, the 4 wins in a row, I started like beating someone who just crowned himself as a champion last week, former champion and a challenger in Marlon Moraes. Now the victory against Cody, a former UFC challenger. Is there like anything in your mind that just blows your mind, knowing that you've been not only 4 in a row, but like 3 huge names in the bantamweight division?
No. I've had these opportunities before and didn't capitalize on them. You know, I got the Lineker fights, the Sansa fights, and the Munoz fights. I didn't. So this obviously, you know, I'm proud of what I've done, but I feel like it's just like, all right, finally. You know, I've should have done this before. I got the second chance, and I'm just taking advantage of the second chance.
And now, obviously, the situation at the top of the division is complicated. Maybe Aljamain Sterling and Yan. It might be a long time till we see that fight. Are you willing to take another fight? Would you want to wait? Would you want to maybe, if it's going to take too long, get an interim belt or something in the division?
100% would love the interim belt. You know, I'm not sure how that would play out, but I definitely don't want to fight backwards. I definitely will wait, but if they can get creative and throw out interim belt, I'm your guy.
Obviously, you get the main event tonight. Different conditions, obviously, here at the Apex and stuff. But just like the amount of media, the amount of attention, especially if there's someone like Cody, it seemed like you embraced it all week. You felt comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I don't have to do this. I get to do this. And, yeah, I said it's a kind of a, like, how do I say, like it kills the week, you know, it helps the week go by, you know, because we're just sitting around doing nothing. Why not just talk about fights, you know?
Just a technical question, Rob. There was a point, that, especially after the second round, when we saw Cody like breathing a little heavier, started seeing the hands drop by Cody, which is like Cody move, right? Like he drops his hands, he tries to lure you in. That's the Asuncao knockout, right? Like hands down, moving and just trying to look. Was there a moment in the fight where you like to yourself were thinking like, just don't overthink it, don't anticipate, just wait for it to come and then go again on the attack?
Yeah, I could see he was setting up something. That dude's fast, man. Every time he would duck his head, it was like I was missing everything. I just knew not to get in that range with him, you know, especially after the last one. I'm not stupid, you know. I'm not gonna get in there and just start going blow for blow with him. And you can tell he was trying to set that up, but I think he was trying to get me to throw more to like shoot. So I was like, just set back and then let's bring it back to the middle.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did want to ask one thing. Did it make you laugh inside? And I think it was the first round where he did the duck down and grabbed. I mean, did even you have to like laugh a little bit?
I was like, oh, all right. I see where you're going with it. He grabbed the cage and everything. I was like, I see it. It's like part of his repertoire now, I guess. Thank you.